Thank you very much and welcome to Ground Talk. Today we're sitting with the founder and the president of XILUVA, the new political party. I mean, this man has got a big track record. You know about the foundations that he laid in municipalities. Honorable Bongani Baloy, thank you. Welcome to Ground Talk.
Thank you for
Wow.
the opportunity and coming to do this interview. I think it's important that we have these very important conversations on platforms like yourself, which are accessible to our people, where our people interface with it. They also get to understand what's happening, and equally they get to get the responses to questions they have from their leaders. So I'm very honored to be on this platform.
You have a big track record, man. You laid the foundation of Midval municipality. I mean, I have to start there. I mean, everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
That you have the foundation that you've laid in Midval municipality, How did you do it?
Yeah.
What is the secret idea? Tell me.
Look, I think I was very fortunate that when one led, I inherited a stable municipality from my predecessors. And I must really always, at any given point in time, I always give my appreciation to my predecessors, which is Timothy Nest and Marty Wenger, and the teams that work with both of them. So they prepared and laid a foundation for me to build and improve the municipality. So had it not been for the work that they did, my work would have been much more difficult. Okay. So I must really give thanks to them and also thank the Midval community for supporting me while I was the mayor of Midval and for the team that I worked with. It's not a one-man thing, but it's quite important that the leader overall leads the municipality and does what is necessary and creates the type of environment conducive for the type of results we're getting as a municipality. So I feel very fortunate and proud of my past record. But for me, it's the past.
Okay.
My best days are not in the past.
Okay.
My best days are ahead of me. As a young person, I feel very strongly about demonstrating that competent, capable young people can lead. And as a leader, you must never be comfortable in your space. You must always seek to do more. You must always have bigger targets, higher goals for yourself. Obviously, when you're a leader, those goals in relation to public sector must speak to improving the lives of our people and transforming the lives of our people. Because ultimately we exist because there's problems in our society. So we must try and resolve those problems in our society, be it the problems that persist within our socio-economic situation and environment. We as leaders in the public sector must do something to resolve those challenges.
Wonderful. Now, how are you in your party is registered in the whole South Africa?
We are registered on two ballots, one the campaign ballot and another national ballot. So that means that anyone going to Malanga, where we've got a number of supporters, calling Popo in our villages, will be able to still vote for XILUVA on the national ballot. Okay. But primarily because of our resource constraint, we decided to focus in Gauteng. Okay. So in Gauteng, we've got a strong and growing presence throughout the length and breadth of Gauteng, which is quite indicative of the fact that many people have actually been waiting for something like XILUVA, which is quite indicative that XILUVA is a growing party and a year-old party that's been able to do all of these things. When many people thought when we started that it's not going to go anywhere, Nobody won't even be able to register and join the ballot, and we're here and we'll still persist again.
That's good.
So it's quite important to demonstrate to young people that you can lead an organization and leave it at your height and not destroy that organization and leave and go start something afresh and be brave enough to start from the bottom again on your terms. Okay. So not that
okay.
No, not lead.
Wow. Lead from the front. That's good.
There's a healthy financial institution. I gave the ample leadership now the time to firstly appoint key senior employees. The time I left, I did not appoint senior employees because I knew I was leaving. So I had to hold the fort and hand over to them and give them the responsibility to be able to appoint and persons who are competent and qualified for them to work with for the 5 years. So I'm not a selfish person. Now I consider those who are coming after me and gave them the responsibility to be able to appoint the persons that they wanted to lead with in going forward. So that my record is public. But as I keep saying, Midval is my past. It's not my best days. Now I lead an organization which I started, which has members throughout the length and breadth of the country, who believe in the message of XILUVA, who also want to replicate what Bongani Baloyi did in municipalities by replicating the type of Ubuntu-led governance and Ubuntu-inspired service leadership.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now let's look at service delivery. How are you going to make sure that you implement a good service delivery in South Africa?
Look, when we speak of governance in the country and the challenges we face, we say as XILUVA, our response is the following. We want to restructure our government. And this is what we mean by that. One, we don't believe in the current constitutional democracy at this point. Because this constitutional democracy over 30 years has actually given minimal improvement to the lives of Black people in a very substantial way. So it's incorrect to keep evaluating the progress made against apartheid, which was a crime against humanity. You can't measure a crime against humanity in terms of your progress. I think we are better than that and deserve better than that as a society. Our government has not transformed the lives of Black people. Many of them today are deep in poverty, inequality, and unemployment, and many young people are in alcohol, substance abuse, in our community that we see every day. So for us, we're saying, let's get out of this constitutional democracy. You know, the challenges of a constitutional democracy is that it must maintain and balance everyone's rights, number one. Number two, those who are saying government are really supportive when you're moving for transformation, wanting to give more Black people and economic access to the procurement of government. So they go to court and the Constitutional Court makes a ruling. So never mind what the government has put into place, the Constitutional Court ultimately makes the final decision. There's many other questionable decisions that the Constitutional Court has been making over the years, which has led to difficult situations in government. For an example, anyway, you can invade someone's piece of land on a long weekend. How can fit 48 hours more to Wasbakaseo before he can remove you? He must go to court to get an eviction order or an interdate. Number two, the court will say he must also identify suitable accommodation for you as well. So I want to the rights of people are infringed by those as well.
That are doing wrong things.
That are doing wrong things. So even foreigners go to court and saying, we've been working in the country in South Africa, and therefore when the country wants to change its laws, it's disadvantaging us. Foreigners don't have an inherent right to be in South Africa. They are guests.
Okay.
So our laws give them all of these things to the disadvantage of us. So we are saying the only way you change that is move away from a constitutional democracy, which actually works for the minority more, by the way, and we move into what we call parliamentary sovereignty.
Okay.
That means that once Parliament makes law, no one can change it except Parliament itself. So Parliament becomes is higher, then becomes above the Constitutional Court. So the laws on transformation, laws of land. So how do politicians live well? Let's get back our land. If votes are how they're going to get it when the Constitutional Court is still there. So unless we consolidate power in Parliament, and Parliament where there's majority of our people won't get it right. So I'm starting there to demonstrate to you firstly that the system we are in is hampering development for Black people in our own land. Number two, we want to reduce cabinet from the number it is now to about 15 members.
How are you going to do that?
You can reduce. If you look at bigger countries which have bigger populations than us, and you look at how many people they have, it's far less. It's not the space that we have. So you can actually reduce and have only...
It's possible.
It's possible. It can be done. So when we reduce cabinet, we also want to remove the sphere of provincial government. The sphere of provincial government is one that's ineffective. It's one that all the competences I think can be better performed by a local municipality. So Gauteng is probably about, I think, 100 billion rands. Imagine that 100 billion rands finding itself in municipalities closer to the communities. And then we must empower municipalities by reducing municipalities from the 257 to 60 districts in the country. So reduce our provincial sphere, we reduce municipalities, you capacitate municipalities with warm body resources and financial resources, and you give them powers to perform policing and education at local government level. Now then you don't have these 257 mayors and executives, we have 60 in the entire country. So then you consolidate government. Now I'm saying when we respond to service delivery, we must then have an appreciation of this new system we're getting into. Because this new system for us, it will be much more efficient and consolidate and coordinate the resources of government and pool those resources in a far more efficient manner to the betterment of our people. So those four things, including the fifth one, which is having one synchronized election, not this election every 2.5 years, 2.5 years, every 7 years. So we are permanently in elections, and the effect of us being permanently in contestation and in elections that reshabile elections all the time and not service delivery. So we want an election only every 5 years. So we believe if we sort out the system we're in and reduce government, consolidate local municipalities, give more powers to municipalities, remove the provincial sphere of government, it will translate to better delivery. But then let's speak about who must be electable. Onaje, our law says anyone who has not been recently convicted, is not liquidated or sequestrated can stand as a public representative. We're saying that's not enough, not good enough. We must add more. Number one, you must have a record in working in the public sector, either in NGOs or in your CPFs. There must be some record that you've done something in your community.
Some track record.
Some
tangible evidence.
Yes. So fita fela holds it just because you happen to be famous in your party, but more
deployed.
Yes. Then the third part is the most difficult part. There has to be a minimum qualification, which is a B degree. So a B degree is your primary degree. It must be minimum. Because we get people who don't even have standard 10, who end up
don't know how to write a report.
Exactly. Don't even know to read a report.
Or even access emails. Or
read emails.
Exactly.
And then that's it.
You need competent people.
Absolutely.
In positions.
So if we then, and then you must also remove the thing. Anyone who has been convicted must never stand for public office. Never. If you have been convicted in a court of law.
I'm not saying corruption only, or maybe in anything.
If you have been convicted on anything, so it means you transgressed our laws. You are found guilty. You went and served time. Now what type of, so people change, but let's not play. This is public governance.
Exactly.
So how a convicted fraudster, convicted criminal, whatever convicted in, you must never stand for public.
You mustn't do policy for the community.
You stay when you are convicted. Whether you're convicted 10 years ago, convicted whatever, how convict you? We do not accept you as a public right. So the law must prevent people who've been previously convicted. Whether you've served your 10 years to your debt to society, we don't care. The fact is that type of individual is not the most desirable to lead and govern and preside over public resources. So Rona as a party that believes in meritocracy. So when you speak XILUVA, you understand there's our ideology which is Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is also pinned by meritocracy. Because how no Romangwana or Sana Bukhoni will perform at the task. So it's a simple African thing. Le he no hali luzuna le meeting una le matata. Ba tseba re re romo. Tšhelete ya tsamaya. Exactly. So you see that basic principle. When we do something important, we get the best. In getting the best, it means meritocracy. So it's the best to do the particular function. So that's why for us, you ascend in XILUVA on the basis of what you've done in government. So it's not about how many delegates you can persuade. Delegate.
But it's happening now.
Yeah. For us, and that's why popularity tools. So it's about government thing, and how can a government thing? The only thing that can move you up is your delivery in government. So replicate what I did in Midfast. That is the standard. That is the minimum standard. So we're going to have public representatives who are saying, how do I outdo what the president has done, the foundation? So it's people who will be thinking service delivery every day. Excellent. So when you elect competent, qualified persons within the right system, and empower the structural issues that prevent local government from not performing some other functions and not having enough resources, then you have dealt with the entire value system of local government, which then translates into reliable water, sanitation, electricity. So that's the basic foundation. When people speak service delivery, I understand service delivery as leadership, governance, and delivery methodology. As those three things. So service delivery is an outcome of these three things.
Mm.
So how Metsi Ali Brown, and you don't understand what is happening, it's infrastructure. So infrastructure tells when you must replenish your infrastructure. So you're not planning correctly. So you're not advising the executive. You're not allocating budget correctly. So it ultimately ties back there. Leadership, governance, delivery methodology. That is service delivery.
Okay.
So service delivery is the last part of the value system. But before that, delivery methodology, governance.